Hello, good afternoon. I am here. I'm streaming again. Excuse me. I am going to continue animating today on this kind of end section of this first episode, The Big Bright Ship. I'll bring up the timeline here for the edit. So there's this monologue at the end of the episode. It may end up becoming its own standalone video, or I think more likely it'll probably just be on the end of the episode because it relates to the episode itself. And Nat is here talking to Andy and Amp on the back of the ship while they look out at the clouds going by. And so it's basically 3 shots. We cut between them all a few times. But it's mainly this shot here, shot 400. And then we cut away to this other shot that's over the shoulder of Amp, and we see Nat and Andy in the background, back to 400. And then we also cut to this reaction shot of Andy at one point, just to break it up. And so this one I animated last night. I kind of just did a real quick job of it. So that one's ready to go. And Nat is fully animated in shot 400 now. However, Amp and Andy aren't yet. So today I'll be finishing that up first. I'll be just some basic keeping alive, or keep alive as they call it, on Amp and Andy in this shot. They'll just be blinking and, you know, reacting and shifting a little bit just so they don't look like frozen CG models. And then the other main task for the day will be to kind of finish up this shot. And Nat's pretty much done in this one as well, but there'll probably be a few things to tweak. And then yeah, also keep alive on Amp and Andy in this shot. So this is the one I animated yesterday, shot 420. So we can take a look at this real quick. So that one's ready to go, and then we'll cut these other ones into it. So I have 2 Blender scenes open. We'll see what we got here. So this is shot 410. This is this shot here. The over the shoulder of Amp with Nat and Andy in the background. And we see this shot twice. We see it here. And the basics of Nat are in here. The mocap is here and the head turns, but I'll have to fix some things and just add a few more details. And then of course, yeah, doing something to these two so that they look like they're alive. And then we also cut back to it at the very end. So I'll just need to fix that as well. Now for shot 400, what I've done is I originally set all this up in one file since they're all kind of connected. And I had the camera cutting between all the 3 shots. We can still see this happening in this file here. I actually have the markers set to cut between the shots. And this is how I determine the timing of everything. But now that I'm ready to kind of wrap up animation on each of these 3 shots, I'm breaking them into their own separate Blender files. And I am going to delete these camera cuts and delete some stuff I have right now. Like if you look over here, there's just some step keyframes where characters shift from frame to frame to kind of get the framing the way I want them in each shot. Just little cheats in their positioning and angle so that like they look as good as possible in each shot. So what I'll have to do is I'll have to go in and I'll have to delete all of this stuff too. I'll delete the camera cuts, I'll delete these jumps around, because now I'm just animating shot 410 in its own dedicated file. So we'll get rid of all the jumps and flips and flicks and cuts and stuff. And we'll just have like a clean shot 410 where the camera stays the same camera, the characters stay in the same place. And that way, if I need to change the cut points later, say I want to extend this shot an extra 10 frames, we're not going to have the characters suddenly flipping into a new location at the end of the shot. So this is the plan for the day. It's a bit of a long explanation, but I figured why not. And so yeah, so for shot 400, I've already done that. I've already taken out the cuts, so we just have one long shot here. We're not going to use the whole thing, but in this camera move where we change position of the camera happens over a few frames. This is actually during shot 410. So shot 400 cuts here. Now we're in shot 410. We don't see this happen. Then we cut back to shot 400. The camera's already here. And the characters aren't jumping around anymore. So I'll end up doing the same thing now to shot 410. I'll get rid of the camera cuts and the characters jumping around, and then we'll be able to just animate both shots. And that'll be that. So, oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to advance my little progress bar before we start, because well, actually no, I'm not going to, because the shot's not rendered in lit yet. It's not done. It's animated, but it's not done. I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, never mind. So yeah, we're gonna start animating, and first thing I'm gonna do is kind of do that clean up on shot 410 that I was talking about. So let's get that one open. That's this one here. And let's see if I can do that. Yep. Okay. Just picking through some music here. Through this library of royalty-free music. So yeah, okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is cough, and then I'm going to delete these cuts here. Double check I'm in the right file. Yes. Keep my markers so that I know where the cuts are, and I don't know how to change these markers from camera cuts to just regular markers, so I'm just deleting them and remaking them. Okay, so that's how I know where all my other cuts are, but my important ones are these two right here that still say shot 410. These are where I actually am in this shot as we currently stand. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of these fun little shifts, and I want the characters always to be in this position, so I'm going to take all of the temporary jumpy keys that I put on Amp and Endy here and delete all of them and just leave these. So now there should be no jumps other than this blocked in animation for amp, which I'm not going to use. We do still have a jump. Let's find that. Got a few things. Just delete that. We don't need it in this file. It's going to be shot 400. Now let's see how we did. Okay, amp and Endy are staying still. That's good. Now we just need to do the same thing to Nat here. Okay. Get rid of that as well, that little pose change. Which I think is just happening on these few here. Like I missed one. Missed a couple. Just the shoulders and that should do it. Guess I added more stuff here than I thought. Okay, and I think the rest of this is not animated. It was just changing poses. So what I can do is I can just go in and delete all the keys on all these left arm controls that are moving, which I think is just the elbow, some of these hand things. All right, did it. So the only moves are deliberate ones we want to see now in this shot. And if I need to extend the shot later, there won't be any crazy jumps. So we're good. We're good. And I'm going to go ahead and save this up version just in case. Okay, so now I have a choice. I can either go ahead and do more in this shot and finish it up, or I can go into shot 400 and do the other stuff that needs to be done there. I think I'll stay in this shot and continue here. I'm gonna go a little before we cut to this shot, like a 20 frame handle. I'm gonna select all of Nat's controls, which are on 3 different armatures. And I'm gonna just make sure there's a key on everything. So in general, what I was doing with Nat in shot 400 was just adding a little bit of residual motion to the body so that it's not completely frozen. And a quick and easy way to do that is to actually use the head motion capture animation, copy it onto some of the spine controls, smooth it out, make it a little bit earlier because it would lead the head by a little bit. Well, I mean, I don't know, maybe it would or wouldn't, but it's gonna. So yeah, and then that's like a quick way. You can just copy and paste some curves and you can have the character feeling a little more like a body. So the X rotation, the tilting forward and backward curve, it looks like yeah, I already did that for the first shot section. So you can see it ends up looking like this. There's just a little bit of movement on the spine. But it looks like I stopped there instead of doing the whole thing. I'm going to do the whole thing. So we'll start at the first frame of the shot. And we will just paste. I think I can just overwrite the ones that are ahead. Okay. So now this is just a one-to-one copy. We have exactly the same rotation happening on the spine as we do on the head, but we want to smooth it out a bit and also bring it a little bit earlier in time, just like 2 frames maybe. And it looks like if you compare the part I did before to this part, it looks like I reduced the intensity quite a bit. So I'd probably scale everything down to something like that. We can go even smoother. Really weird stuff happens with these handles when I do this. Okay. Yeah, I think that's good. So then the next thing we're going to do with this is bring it just a couple frames earlier. Maybe we can go even more. Yeah. I mean, that's where you can see the effect. It's not in this shot, but it'll be happening throughout. You kind of see like a chain effect going between the spine and the neck here. And we're gonna do the same thing with the Z rotation, I think. Let's see. The side-to-side tilting. Which is Y. It is Y. But we're going to copy it onto Z. We're going to put it here. Looks like I already put a little bit of posing on this one, but I think I can just delete it. Probably it's... Let's see what happens if I just delete it. Yeah, and then I can just... I can put it back if I have to. But I lost my start frame, so I have to go back and find that. $10.34. And we have to invert it because it's currently moving the opposite direction. So obviously this is still way too intense, so we'll do kind of the same thing we did with the other one where we reduce the keys and scale it all down. Probably 0.3, maybe 30% where we were. I might actually do less because I'm also going to do the same thing with the hold on. I'm having a hard time seeing what's going on here. Okay. Flip. Now, yeah, we're going to scale times even less because I'm also going to apply it to the hips control as well. The one below it. So it's actually going to kind of double the effect. So I'm just going to do like scale Y 0.2. So it'll be pretty subtle on this control. Okay, well, that's probably good. So yes, now I'll set this one 2 frames earlier. So weird. I'm seeing like a 0.5 there in the value, and it's totally thrown me. But anyways, yeah, 2 frames here. Boop, boop. And then we're going to copy this curve right onto the lower control. And then we're going to move it another 2 frames back. So now we have this like chain of these curves. They kind of follow each other in time. And this will create like a nice cascading motion effect through the spine. And if it's not visible, you can just space these curves out even further to exaggerate it. But we do want it to be fairly subtle. And I think I am going to do that. So I think I'm going to push the first one 2 frames further back. And then I'm going to push the one on the root 4 frames further back, so that there's 4 frames between each one. Now we should see some very noticeable kind of drag between the 2 points in the spine. Yeah. Kind of got like a looser feeling in the body now. So yeah, that's how you do that. And I'm gonna continue on this curve copying extravaganza, and I'm gonna put it also on the shoulders and parts of the arms too, so that they respond to the spine motion, because they are connected, and the hands are kind of on the ground, and so they're going to react. You know, the arm is going to get compressed against the body, so we would probably see some like of this going on in the shoulder as the character leans. So I can copy that into, what is this, X? And yeah, I'll just try deleting these keys that are already here, see if it ruins anything. It's fine. So yeah, paste these in here. So we'll probably need to scale this up again because it's probably a little too subtle right now. Yeah, we need to scale that up pretty dramatically. And now we're starting to see something. Could probably go even further. It's maybe a little too much. Okay. Something like that. Yeah, and so I'll want to do the same thing on the hand as well. I'm going to copy this curve yet again into like a couple rotation and position channels on the hand, so that way since this is an F or an IK arm, we can have the whole arm kind of react to the body as it moves. Just a little bit. So that's at 1030. And let's see, what do I want to do? I want to have it kind of roll. We have a unfortunate like gimbal situation here on the hand rotation, so it's not going to be ideal, but I think Y is probably going to be good. So yeah, I'll do it on Y first. Ready, yeah, that's pretty much what I want to see. And also a little position so that it's not kind of pivoting in space. It looks a little more like it's actually rolling along the ground. We can do that by adding in Z a little bit. Oh, I put it in the wrong one. Put it in Z rotation. I meant to do Z position. Yeah, so that will just help the hand feel more like it's rolling on its side rather than just turning in space. So, I think the only thing to do is also, I think I might copy it to X as well, because since Z is not really exactly the right direction, and also I kind of want the hand to be lower against the ground anyway, I think. And then the fingers will probably need a little adjustment. And then that'll be that. Okay, yeah, and that's way too much. And I think it's inverted, so let's try scale Y. Hmm. That's what I thought. Okay. Yeah, this timing is like way off for some reason. That should be there. Okay. Is that it? Oh, I think I want it the other way. Okay, the direction's right, the timing's right. I'm just going to reduce it by about half. And then on this pose itself is needs work. So yeah, that's the general gist of copying the curves. And shot comes in here, so looks like I might just need to fix the hand at the beginning of the shot because we would see this. But before I do anything else on the hands or fingers or anything, I'm gonna finish correcting the spine because the spine still isn't doing 100% what I want, and that's gonna affect everything else. Like for instance, I don't think the character's even gonna be turned this far at the beginning of the shot. So that might fix it altogether. Yeah, that solves that. So when we cut in, the hand's there. So I'll probably do still a little bit to fix it, but I don't need to do as much. The other thing I want to do is not have the character leaning so far to the side. So I'm going to take this whole Z rotation and shift it like that way. Okay. Let's see how it looks in the second part when we come back. Okay. Yeah, so overall that's pretty much what I want. I'm going to go in and I'm going to soften the turns. I think I just slapped those in. There we go. Yeah, these are still pretty just like slugged in. They need to be softened. This is the main turn of the spine, and there's probably one on the neck too that needs to be tweaked. Okay, yeah, all of these keys on these controls need a little work for the turns. Probably here too, yeah. Just to be softened out a bit. The spine ones I'm going to soften more than the head and neck, so I'll just do those together on their own real quick. And I might push them a little further than the, or push them a little earlier than the head and neck as well. Let them lead. I think I overdid it. I think I need to scale this Z curve down a bit. Let's try half. Okay, and yeah, so anyways, continuing. Okay, and then neck and head as well. Yeah. And the other thing that's needs to get done real quick is the lip sync feels late to me in this particular line. I guess I missed that before. I might do a render preview just to double check, because I think I checked everything and it was in sync, but it's such a long stretch that I may have just kind of missed this. But this definitely feels late in the lip sync department. Before I do that, there's one more curve copying thing I want to do. Here, we're going to take the tilt forward and back curve, the X rotation that I set up for myself earlier, and I'm going to copy this onto the rolling of the feet. So the feet kind of like roll out a bit every time the character tilts forward, because the belly kind of like pushing the legs apart a little bit can make like a, and just so that the feet have some movement in them, they're not just frozen in place. So that is, again, gimbal wise, not very good for us. Looks like Y is going to be the best that maybe. Oh yeah, Y is fine. Or, you know what? I put it on this one on the last shot. This offset one. Yeah, I think from the camera angle we're looking at this at, Z is going to feel pretty good. So I'm going to put it there. Z rotation. Okay, yeah. So yeah, that's doing what I want, and I think the amount is good too. And this one will have to be flipped. Well, hello. Welcome to my live stream. I've got some chocolates and roses laid out for you right now. You'll notice the vanilla scented candle I left on the nightstand. I hope you like it. You know, this music just reminds me of a better time, happier times. Back when we were young and foolish, you know. I mean, we're still young and foolish at heart, aren't we? But the wrinkles show up on our skin, and, well, you know the rest. You and me, baby, we're gonna run away together. We're gonna run away with this saxophone player. And we're gonna start a new life. Away from all this hustle and bustle. Just you wait. Just you wait. Just gotta finish this animation. Getting closer. You know, I was strolling through Central Park just the other day, taking in the breeze and listening to the pigeons, watching the squirrels and the rats fight, just laughing to myself. Just the beauty of it all. I got yelled at by somebody who was living there in the park. They were screaming bloody murder at me. But, you know, I just chalked that up to living in the city. That's just the way it goes. Okay. Yeah, so the fingers and the eye lines need a little bit of work, and this potentially late lip sync I'll have to deal with. But other than that, I think that this shot will be done for Nat, and then I'll have to do the little bits of Keep Alive on Andy and Amp after that. So let's do a preview. This is 1619. This is 1894. Oh boy, there's even more. I got the bad news yesterday. Turns out I had signed a multi-song contract with the saxophone player. And well, I was stuck with him. I wasn't sure how many songs he was gonna play, but Lord knows it was gonna be more than one. More than one is more than one too many. That's what I always say. This was a sadder, darker saxophone song, and it was making me think of the sadder, darker times, and, well, it did have a few high notes sprinkled in here and there, and that was good. I did appreciate the saxophonist keeping it light for a little while. But to be honest, I was really just hoping he would go away. Because, well, you know, it just wasn't my vibe that day. Trying to focus on animating, and all I could think about was my situation with this saxophone player. I just couldn't take it, you know? It was driving me crazy, this saxophonist. Anyway. I just started rendering my animation preview and hoped for the best. He really wasn't so bad, you know, he was a nice guy. He kept to himself mostly in the corner. Just set his saxophone case down, open it up. But you know, saxophones are really loud in the room when you're just in a room with someone playing a saxophone. It's very loud. And, so I was starting to feel like I needed the saxophone player to be quiet. And just when I thought I was about to snap, he stopped playing. And the piano player took over. with a few little tinkles on the ivories, just a few little light ones, and it was nice. It was nice. See? I liked it. I kind of hoped it would never end. But then it did. The saxophone player came right back in again, almost as soon as I had the thought. But what can you do? That's life, I guess, isn't it? Nothing's perfect. And well, there's generally just a little too much saxophone going on at any given time. Now I said, listen, I have to check this lip sync here. See if it's late. And yes, turns out I was right after all. Lip sync is fine. It was fine when I checked it the other day, and it's fine again now. Just looks late in the viewport. And so I think we're good. And just then the saxophone song ended and I could start talking the way I normally talk again. What a relief. Okay, so that is good. I'm going to trust that it's still good with the other shot as well. Oh man, let's see, I lost my... Okay. There we go, 2790, okay. So yeah, lip sync's good, all the curve copying stuff is good. I just want to do a little bit to the fingers and the eye lines here. And then that will be done in this shot. Yeah, you know, I think that's all we need to do. I'm not gonna kill myself over it. I am gonna soften this elbow movement a bit. Okay. So this hand is going to be sitting in the grass, so that's why I'm not worrying too much about like the finger going through the floor a little bit and the contact being just right. So yeah. Chomasso, thank you for the follow. And welcome. Yo! How's your day going? Just in case this shows if I extend the shot. Don't plan to, but okay, so next, just some eyeline corrections, and then I think that's going to be done. Which is also here. So let's just go through them one by one. Start here. And I'm going to try to avoid the eye getting too buried in the side of the eye socket there. Let's hide this flagpole here. Okay. All right. So, yeah. I think that feels pretty good. Yeah, okay. And yeah, we're getting a little bit lost here, so we'll need to do a little corrective starting about here. Okay, I think that'll work. And let's start this blink a little earlier. First I'll set this key to where it needs to be, which I think is way off right now. Can probably hear my neighbor dog barking. I need to turn on the render and do the test here and see what it really looks like with the real eyes. Interesting. Can't even see them. Can't even see one of them. Okay, I think if I go any further, I'd have to turn the head further. I'm trying to avoid that. I think that'll work. Yeah, okay. Well, I guess since we're here, we might as well check this. Okay, I think that's better. Okay. Yeah, so that's good. Turn on the proxy eyes again. So now we have to try to change this to match the other one. Which I think was just a little over this way and a little bit down. Yeah, that feels pretty consistent. A little further, I can see it moving to the right. Yeah, there we go. I think that'll be fine. All right. So that's eye lines fixed for Nat in this shot. Okay. And the last thing I wanted to do in this shot on Nat was to make the blink on this head turn a little bit earlier. Yep. And I have to check these blinks too because there's a few of them where the lids don't actually contact each other because of this control right here. It's like lower lid control is down too far. Something with the motion capture, I guess, so I just need to bring it up. Okay. And the very last thing on that is to set the eye dots where they're supposed to be. And I know already from my planning that the lighting is probably going to be coming from back here. There's really only two directions you have to worry about with these eye dots because they're kind of graphic, cartoony dots. They don't need to match the actual lighting direction perfectly, so it's either on the upper left or the upper right is basically all we're doing with them. So in this shot, they're going to be on the upper right side of the eye, and then if the lighting plan changes later, I can change it, but for now, that's the plan. So just go in and fix those. Delete all these other keys off of them. And I'm going to want to set the eye follow to like 0.8, I think is what. These to like 0.2. Whoa. Ah. Let's see if I can speed this up by hiding the ship. I really can't wait until that problem is fixed, whatever that is. It happens a lot. Okay. Yeah, a little on this one too. Okay, I think we're good. Oops. Yep. Okay, so that's it. That's a wrap on that for the shot. And yeah, now we just do a little bit of keep alive on ND and amp. In this shot, they're just going to kind of be moving a little bit and breathing or whatever and blinking. And that will do it. But this is a good time for me to take a break before that, so I'm just going to step away for a few minutes. Well, it sounds like a saxophone player snuck in here while I was out of the room. Um, so, what can you do? Old Richie Everett at it again. Um, yeah. Before the break, I was finishing, or I had finished up animation on Nap for this shot. And so we're just going to do a little bit of keep alive on NB and amp now. And it's going to be really straightforward and quick, hopefully. For Andy, the easiest way to do this is to add a little bit of just random motion to the, maybe not the root controller because I don't want the butt sliding around necessarily, but this mid-spine controller, which will kind of make things happen with the head and maybe add another little bit to the head as well. We got the IK hands, so the hands will stay in the same place and stay resting on the legs. Between that and the blinking, and maybe a little bit of slight change in the head direction, that should be all we need. So, yeah, I'll try just setting some F-curve modifiers. Probably something like that, and then just way down on the strength, like 0.02 or something. Maybe try 0.03. And we'll add some to the other channels as well, so it's just like a little ambient movement so that the pixels aren't like frozen in place, and just the natural like wobbliness of bodies. They are not ever perfectly still. And I'll maybe add a little to the head as well. And the X rotation. Okay, and maybe just like a blink or two. might as well spruce this blank up a little bit with a little bit of a reaction in the head. And that'll be interesting because I don't think I've tried animating a channel with F-curve modifiers on it before. I switch this to add. Should be fine. Yeah, looks like it. Yeah, great. And last thing for this blank will be just to give a little bit of motion to the eyes themselves. It's to kind of ride downwards a little bit with the eyelids. Maybe not quite that much. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. So that'll be fine for Andy in the background and might even be out of focus anyway, so I'm not going to spend any more time doing anything there. I'll just maybe copy this blank over and get it in one more place. Like maybe here. There could be a little adjustment head direction here too. Why not? And I do want to make sure I'm not just... There's going to be some motion on Indy in the next shot right after this cut, so I want to make sure I'm not just doing the same thing twice in a row, and I think I might be. Let's check the edit. So yeah, there's kind of like a look up into the side, so I don't want to just do the same exact look up into the side twice in a row, because it's going to happen right before this. Oh, actually, that's not true. There is a cut back to shot 400 in between. Okay, so I think we're good. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. And then let's see if we want to blink at the end when we cut back to this shot. It's going to be shorter. I don't think we do. Maybe just like a little lean or something. And yeah, maybe a blink, why not? I think yeah, this is weird. Yeah, that feels better. Okay, that's enough on Endy. So now Endy is alive, and we need to set those little eye dots. Okay. And lastly, for this shot, we'll do the same thing with amp. So amp will be just kind of blinking and, you know, slight movement in the body. I might make these hand poses on this railing a little nicer because since they're so prominent in the frame, it'd be nice for them to look good. And actually one way to get like a lot of mileage for free is to use some IK fingers, and then I can actually move the hands and the fingers will stay gripped to the rail, which will just be a quick and easy way to add something a little more solid and lifelike feeling to the shot. So the first thing I'll do in order to make that happen is to, first of all, set the fingers the way I want them to be, and then I'll snap them into IK fingers. It's easier to kind of pose hands with FK fingers, I think, and then you can just set the thing to snap them to IK. See what we can do to make this pose a little more organic. I think actually having one hand kind of almost tilted up and resting on the rail rather than fully gripping it would be a nice way to make it less symmetrical, and would probably fit with this idea that Amp has turned to face Nat, and so has probably pulled their hand a bit away on this side. So I'm gonna try that. So it'll be almost like the hand and fingers are almost kind of half resting on top of the rail as Amp is turned. And then more just a typical grip with the other hand, and then it'll feel a little more like there's some variation. I'm kind of like acting this out with my hand on my desk, by the way, to kind of get a feel for what the hand can be doing. You can even have this finger like kind of curled under. Feels kind of natural to do when I place my hand that way on my desk. Whoa! Yeah. A little bit of a natural hand pose can add a lot to a shot. And so for this one, I'll just, make this one a little, I just, quickly block this in. I didn't really spend any time making it nice, so I'll just try to spruce it up a little bit. Yeah, so those hands will be a little more organic, and then I can have the auto switcher switch them to IK. And the nice thing about that is I'll be able to do slight little shifts in the positioning of the IK hand controls, and the fingers will stay gripped right to the rail. And it kind of breaks the illusion if you do it too much, but if you do just a tiny bit, it really just spruces it up. So now I'm just going to go through and look at my silhouette here and just shape everything to be a little bit nicer. Because Amp's not really doing anything in this shot, and it's just so much on Amp in this one pose, it's like, might as well make it a nice pose, right? Okay, yeah, I think that'll be good for this shot for Amp's main pose. And so yeah, now I can start adding in whatever residual motion I'm gonna put in here, and I will just double check that there's a key on everything so I don't lose this pose, which means grabbing this and this. I should see a key on everything. Anything I click on should have a key on it. Yep, looks like we're good. So, yeah. Save again. And I think I'm going to do kind of the same thing I did with ND, where I add just some of those noise things to these. Perfect. And it's done. Just kidding. So yeah, let's set it kind of like that and do like 0.02. It's still way too much, so let's try 0.005. And less for this one, 0.003. Yeah, something like that. And then I'll also put one on X that's got a little more to it. So we'll do this one at like 0.006. I think it's just a little too fast. Yeah. So we'll do it there, and we'll also do it on a spine rotation. think one on the head X rotation as well. I'll offset it from the spine just a little bit, but I'm going to keep the same motion. I do think it has to be turned upside down though. Yeah, so then let's reduce it to like a third of that. Yeah, something like that. So now we got like some basic residual motion on Amp's body. That'll help keep the body from feeling like frozen at any time. It's just like a nice little guarantee that there's always going to be some movement. It's never going to be like a freeze and you notice that all the pixels have frozen and, you know, all that kind of stuff. So, but we still want to add more because this is not really enough to make the character feel alive. It's just keeping them from being frozen. And I might actually just go ahead and add like some breathing, because I think that even though you won't really see it, you'll feel it, type of thing. So yeah, we'll expand the chest a little bit. You know, it looks like a big change, but it's happening really slowly, so. Yeah, and then we can copy that curve to the shoulders and get some reaction of the shoulders from the breathing in here. That's good. We just don't want them that high, of course. I can probably do scale Y 0.6. Yeah. Life is but a dream. Royalty, royalty, royalty free. Music for you and me. Did I? Okay, just copy the original. I'm gonna Okay, and I'm feeling like this is maybe a little much. I'm gonna reduce this to like point half of what it is. All right. And just like with Endy, I think I'm gonna add a blink here for amp. Let's do one more. Alrighty. And I think when that turns their head, it would be good for amp to react a little bit and adjust their eye direction and head position as well. So just a little bit. I think that half blink of gnats is distracting. It's in the mocap, and so I thought, oh, it feels natural, but I think it's just distracting. So I'm going to get rid of that real quick. It's this right here. Yeah. Okay. Okay, everybody's alive. So the last thing I'm going to do is that thing I was talking about a little while ago with the hands and the IK fingers for amp. We'll see if we can pull this off because I think it may or may not work. I'm not fully up to speed on this whole control system yet. All the details of it, it's pretty complex. Like I can snap it to the IK fingers, that's easy enough, but then there's the transform space of the IK fingers, like, and by default they follow the hand, which makes it pointless for what I want to do. And if you switch them to world space, which is what I want, then they all go move to the origin of the world, and that will make all the fingers be wrong. So see what we can make happen here. Save in case I break anything. And I think I just select fingers. I'm gonna go snap all to IK. So now we have IK fingers, but I think they still follow the hand. Yeah, they still follow the hand. So then the trick is I think it's toggle all IK parents. And there we go. Yes, sweet. Okay, so toggle all IK parents. Brilliant. Yeah, so this is great. So it worked. Yay. So now what I can do is, for one thing, I need to make sure there's keys on all these, and there are. That's good. And what I can do is just any little tiny residual motion on the hand, like only this much, really. You wouldn't do much more because then you'd start to feel like the fingers were glued to the rail, which we don't want. Then you'd have to animate. You'd actually have to start animating the fingertips to react, so they still feel connected to the hand and not just glued to the railing. But what you can do is you can get away with a little tiny bit of this kind of thing without the fingers feeling too glued in, and it just gives a little bit of life to it. So I'm going to do that. And I think, yeah, these are in world space, so just kind of have to pick a direction that feels right. I think Y. I'm gonna try it with Y position. You know what I'll do is I'll copy the Y noise that I've got here already. Oh, we're hitting all the royalty-free hits today. The ABC song, Row, Row, Row Your Boat. It's funny. Does anyone want to hear Happy Birthday or maybe Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star? All right, so where were we? Y position. Ah. Oh my gosh, what happened? Did something get broken? Oh, Well, that's unexpected. Guess I'll just keyframe it. Well, I thought I'd fixed it, but apparently not. Okay, yeah, I know what's happening. It's the thing I thought was gonna happen. It's just happening after this frame. So all the finger targets end up going to the world. I think I wanna... maybe try this one? Mm-hmm. Okay. I know what to do. Snap each one individually to this. It does kind of mess up the hand pose a little bit, but I think I can fix it. No, that didn't do it. The art of the perfect hand pose. Okay, so that still breaks even if that's set that way. You know what I think I need to do? I think I need to create a new parent to these all, for these all to be snapped to, and then maybe, so let's add empty. Maybe they won't all just jump to the world origin. Little thing here, I'm gonna just call this And finger parent. Yeah, okay. Well, I think I might need to add my own constraints to these. I don't know if this is going to keep working once I bring it into another file as I link it in, because this is going to be an override, and that seems to get really hairy, but I guess I'll just save up a version in case it does break something, and then it's a good thing it's the last thing I'm doing, so I won't really lose any work if it does break anything. And we'll just try adding constraints here. And so we'll do I think, yeah, child of, and we'll use our finger parent, set our inverse. Yeah, and there we go. So it's seeing that there. And now if I scrub the time, still breaks. Well, was a nice thought. I think the last option is kind of a brute force type of thing. And I'm trying to figure out how I would even do it, but it would be to basically copy the position back in. But considering I have to undo to bring the fingers back to where they're supposed to be. I don't know if that's even going to work. The idea is, I set my 3D cursor. And now, you know, I can snap it back to the cursor and it's at least in the right position. I have to re-rotate it. But then the problem is, how do I get the rest back where they're supposed to be? So yeah, I don't know. Yeah. No matter what I do, they all go back here. Yeah, and I don't think they're even in the right place in relation to each other. I think they're kind of like rotated in a different space, so that's not going to work either. Otherwise, I would just grab them and pull them all over, but I don't think that's actually going to work. I guess I can try it. Let's undo until they're back in the right place again. Get this one back the way it was supposed to be. Okay. Now if I grab them all, yeah, they're all in the wrong place. So that's not gonna work, but I did just notice that these, looks like I already have other keyframes. So I'm thinking maybe if I go back, having these other keyframes on these controllers might be what's breaking it. This is my last attempt, and then I'm gonna cancel this plan if this doesn't work. So yeah, okay, that fixed it. So that's all it was. It was just some weird keys. And I think we're good now. Yeah? Yeah. All right. Gosh. That's all I had to do. I feel like I should write that down. Yeah, before I forget. Not that I'll probably remember where to look for it later, but I'm just gonna I keep a note of random problems and fixes, and I can write it in there. Okay. All right. So yeah, anyways, before so rudely interrupted by that long, ridiculous detour, I was putting some noise channels on here, and those will probably work now too. I thought they weren't gonna work, but it was just because of the same problem, probably. So let's try pasting this in. Yeah, and then I'll just offset it just a little bit in time. A little bit later. Yeah, and then maybe also the X rotation. Okay, so now they kind of turn and turns and moves at the same time. And the fingers stay on the rail. And I think that's about the most we would want to have them move without the fingertips reacting. It's just really subtle, but it helps make the... Oh my god, this track is not what I want right now. It just helps the hands feel connected to the rail without, hopefully without making it feel like the fingers are glued to the rail. I would like it to not be so much like they are sliding back and forth, though. Wonder if I can take care of that with this one. Yeah. So yeah, I'll turn this one back on, but turn it way down. Okay, it's probably a detail nobody will even notice. I've made it so subtle, but yeah, whatever, it's done now. Yep. So let's copy these onto the other hand. So Y location. And X rotation. And also Z rotation. I mean, it's definitely a kind of thing where you feel it more than you see it, but maybe that's fine. I think this shot is animated. I think we're good to go. Yep. Okay. This shot is animated. So now that this shot is animated, the last thing to do is do the little autophysics situation, which just gives a little residual motion to Nat's like hairdo here, and same with Endy. They both have some autophysics hair. So we can go ahead and add that in now. I'm gonna save. Oh, you know what else I didn't do was just double check this second part where we cut back. I want to set this to 2790. $26.56. Just to make sure there's no weirdness. I don't think Amp's breathing got copied over here, but it's fine. It's a short enough shot. I don't think it matters. So, yeah, you're good. We're good. And we're moving on. So, as for autophysics, we'll start the physics right before Nat does his turn so that gets picked up in like a pre-roll type of thing. So we'll start the physics at 1580. And then we'll go all the way through the end of the shot. So this will be set to, we'll delete, make sure there's no keyframes on these. Oh, 2790 and 1580. And we'll turn physics bones on. And we'll go ahead and select our physics bones object and save one more time. Bake. And yes, there is a huge chunk of this cache animation that's not even gonna ever show, but the nice thing about these particular caches is that they're very, very small. So it doesn't really matter. It's fine. I can have an extra 1,000 frames that we don't ever use, and it's only going to be like a few megabytes. So. Because the bone physics themselves are just these low poly boxes that are connected to each other. basically. So let's see. Yeah, that whole cache for all of that was 10 megabytes. So no big deal. And we'll do the same with ND. First, I'll make sure it worked. Yep. So we'll see it mostly on these head turns here. And I'll probably turn it down a little bit. I have been doing that with most of the shots. I turned down about half. But yeah, let's do, oops, 80 and do NDs as well. So by default, Blender always looks for these caches in the folder where the scene file is. I don't think you can change it. And the only difference is if this library pathing is checked, it's going to save it where the, the rig file would be maybe, but we definitely don't want that. And I don't think you can just choose an arbitrary location, which is really what you would want. But yeah, they go into a folder with the scene file. So when I link all this into a lighting file, which will be the final file this all comes into to get rendered, I think I can just copy all the caches into a new folder that's in that folder where that scene file is, and it should read all the caches. And so I can bring in caches from the ship, I can bring in caches from various characters, and they should all just go together in a folder and they'll work. So yeah, now we can see Andy's hair is reacting a little bit to the residual motion. And I'll probably turn that down too. So yeah, you just turn both of these down. I think like 0.5 is pretty good for. Yeah. And same thing with Nat. I think we'll try 50%. Actually, I think Indy's is kind of distracting even still, so I'm going to turn that one way down. Because it kind of like puffs out when the head tilts back and just makes it look like it's growing. That's better. Okay. Okay, that's it. That's it for that shot. I just want to double check one more thing and make sure these eye dots on amp, they're not going to be showing. I just want to make sure they're not in a weird place that's going to like create weird artifacts later in the render, like showing up in a weird unexpected place, and it looks like they won't, so we're good. And yeah, so this shot is done. So I'm going to animate, or I'm going to render a save, and I'm going to do a viewport animation so we can drop it in the edit and look at it. So 1619. And let's turn on the ship plants, because I think they are on in the other render. Let's let me check my edit real quick. Yeah, they are. Okay. Oh, and we don't want audio. Well, yeah, I'll leave it in. Okay. So this is going to go through, and it's going to take a few minutes. Yeah, this is going to take a while. So yeah, it's a good time for me to take a break. And then I think I'll come back and this will be done, and I'll drop it in the edit and I'll show the progress, and then I will end the stream. That's the plan. So yeah, let's have a little break. Okay, I'm back from the break and this preview is rendered, so let's drop it in and take a look. Okay, so we cut back to 400 here, so I'll make a little cut. And cut and cut. So this is where, oh, one more. That's shot 400, which is not fully animated yet. All right, so that's what we got for the day, and I'm going to end the stream here. And I think we had a couple people come in, so thank you to who came in, and thank you to whoever watches the replay. I hope that you enjoyed it, and have a wonderful day.